Bad.
Hello, YouTube. This is Piss and Moan, and apparently we're bad.
Really, really bad.
So tell me what you want. I
No,
don't know why that
no.
popped in my head, but that's what you
No,
made
I
me
was
think
going
of.
with Michael Jackson there. Come on. Just gonna lean.
So as we depart this,
We're good at staying on topic, as our regular viewers will know.
yes, all two of them.
We're
really
up to 2.
Yes,
Cool.
like views per video,
And at least one of them might be me.
and one of them's usually me.
Okay, so
We're our own best viewers.
perfect. That's we're making videos for our target audience. Us.
Yeah, actually, that is a good point. So this week we're going to be reviewing Black Panther.
Never heard of it.
We'll do our quick to see or not to see, and then an in-depth on this one because I think we both really liked it. Well, we both would like to talk about it.
Spoilers.
Yes, no,
Sure.
yeah, sure, okay, we'll do both.
Why not?
We'll wing it. We'll wing it. We'll see what we do. So, it was a real return to force for Marvel. With so many of their movies kind of becoming kind of samey and very samey. This one was kind of a unique...
Well, for lack of a better term, very masturbatory. Masturbatory.
Oh, okay, you're going to have to
They
expound on that.
They
And
exist
not all
for
over my monitor, please.
all of the most of the Marvel movies these days exist for the purpose of selling other Marvel movies. I mean, Guardians, Thor.
Yeah, and this one didn't, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. I did feel that this one felt very... I don't know how to describe it. Just very real. It's the best way I can think of it. It was great. To put it simply, it was really great. I really liked it. The themes were impressively done. Unfortunately, this age of America with Black Lives Matters and Blue Lives Matters and everything in between, there's a real politicizing that this movie could have been and made it very different. They walked the line and handled the political topics extremely well, and I don't feel tread on anyone's toes. It's kind of how I took it. It was a movie that I suspect the audience score is as low as it is because people gave it bad ratings because they didn't like the idea of politics in movies.
Review bombing is a at least rumored thing. I don't know how much substance there is to that exactly, but
the critics liked it, and I have to agree with them. I describe this one as more of like the Bond of the Marvel universe. He's got all sorts of gadgets and a Pennywise and just
a Pennywise. I don't think that's the right name.
Close enough.
No.
No. He's got a Pennywise. They go,
cute. You haven't even seen the movie yet. What?
Oh, don't judge me.
Oh, too late.
The one thing that really surprised me was kind of like, I don't know if it's spoilers or not, the turnaround on who the villain was a real bait and switch for me. Okay. This was a movie that the trailers did not spoil for me, which is becoming a recurring problem of late.
I didn't watch a whole lot of trailers for this one.
I watched enough to not get spoiled, which is exactly what I was looking for. I love the relationships. I can't think of a character that I really disliked in this movie. I felt all of them were pretty well acted.
I didn't like you, so there's that.
I wasn't in the movie. I was watching it.
You were in the theater.
And I still sucked.
Should have seen his acting. Pretending like he was watching the movie the whole time. Should have seen his face reactions. Anyways.
God, so bad at this.
As my regular viewers, as established, just him and me. No, I haven't enjoyed a superhero movie in a long time, and I enjoyed this one because it focused on itself rather than trying to drag in
cameo after cameo.
Yep. Although the Stan Lee one in this one was still a little longer than
needed.
Gave him a couple more lines than he usually gets.
You made a good point when we were discussing this earlier that some of the comedy in this does feel out of place. There's one in particular that we'll talk about in the spoiler section that's just stupid.
Pretty much, honestly, for Marvel movies, pretty much every time they try to do comedy, that's when it shuts me right off.
And I feel like there's comedy you can do well. Like, there was some in Thor Ragnarok I liked, but like you said, the ball scene was just dumb. And there was a couple of those just dumb.
Lowest common denominator humor.
This one wasn't even plausible. This was something I'd expect to see out of the Kingsman 2.
Yeah. That was a weird scene. Yeah, there's... The serious parts are done very well. And honestly, there isn't a whole lot of comic relief moments.
Mm-hmm.
There's levity, but they don't go so far out of the way to stop for, here comes the funny character scenes.
Actually, that's a good way to put it. The levity in this movie was really well done. The comedy was poorly done.
They did a good job of not having a character specifically there just to be comedy. There's no young Groot or Hulk or there wasn't characters whose entire character was the comic relief.
Yeah, they kind of put the sister in that role, but like you said, levity. Yeah,
there was more to her than that. There was a lot of depth to all the characters. They were all relatable. It was
and really well acted.
Yes, the acting.
I was really impressed with the acting from top to bottom. Pretty much every single character was really well acted.
And I was, the spoilers, so we'll wait for that.
Well, let's hop into it then. Our final review. I'm kind of with the tomato. I very much align with the critics more than I do with the audience. I think I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It really hit the spot for me, but certainly not the best movie this year. All like 3 of them we've seen.
This year's been pretty short. Honestly,
yes.
of all the movies this year.
Actually, it is probably the best movie I've seen this year.
I'll agree with the 9 out of 10. Best Marvel movie since Winter Soldier, I think.
I would argue best Marvel movies. Actually, that is a good metric. Which was the best Marvel movie since Avengers.
Winter Soldier, Avengers.
Captain America.
I really like the first Captain America.
He's weird like that. Sorry, guys.
It managed to turn what I viewed as a propaganda hero into something I could sympathize
you could actually
with.
care about.
Yep.
Care about would be enough in my mind, but they actually sympathize. Yeah.
Because the only reason I went to the first Captain America movie was to catch up before the Avengers came out, and I was glad I did.
So, final edict, disposition, verdict. Final verdict for this movie is...
The king has a new edict.
If you're seeing a movie of the movies that have released this year so far, this is the movie to see. There isn't one...
See Black Panther.
Yeah, there isn't one better right now.
What else has come out this year? Nothing very exciting.
Annihilation is supposed to be really good. I'd like to see that. Ooh, you're telling me that you think they should see this over 50 Shades Free?
There's
a car sex scene in that movie.
I did not know that.
I have a coworker who watched it. That's the only reason I know. I've not seen it.
He's trying to cover it up.
Oh, I'm dead.
So it's a solid 12 right now. That's impressive.
Yeah, right. That is impressive. It's emoji levels. So, getting into the spoiler section.
Whatever.
Some sort of weird gang salute or something. So, spoiler section.
I can't believe they killed off Dumbledore.
Fair enough. The biggest thing that surprised me in this movie was that the villain that was portrayed in the previews and the villain that I thought was going to be the villain got killed off. Like, just straight up killed off early on in this, and it transitioned to
early. It wasn't too early.
I'd say in the first third.
First half.
Maybe first half.
But
I have no complaints. Like, I liked the first villain. I felt they handled him well. I was disappointed and then happy with where they went with it.
It was nice to see Andy Serkis actually get to act outside of motion capture when he's doing, because he's Gollum and he was King Kong and he was. It was nice to see him actually get to do some acting.
Actually be an actor. He did a really good job. He was bonkers.
Very, very, very fun villain.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way. I like the lean out of the car and blasting people. That was... Because that's not something you ever see the lead villain do.
Right? He's having a blast as he does his villainry. And the secondary villain I thought was really good too. A very different kind of villain from the first villain in this movie. His brother, right? Yeah. No, cousin. Cousin. And that was a very good contrast. And for such a... we need to empower our brethren, very racially strong villain. Or not racially strong, racially influenced, I guess. Like I said, they handled the racial topics in this so well from my perspective as a, really well handled.
He's trying not to say that he's white.
Sure.
A lot of silence on the air for this one.
One of the things we complained about was the comedy, and there's a lot of comedy in this that's really dumb. The first and biggest standout was the car chase where the car gets exploded, and apparently 100% of the car got destroyed, except for the driver's seat.
And the steering wheel. She's holding the steering wheel. Oh my god.
And the pilot, who apparently came away unscathed. It was stupid. Just stupid.
That was the one where I actually scoffed in the theater.
Yeah, me too. It was so dumb.
Because if you've got a movie strong, you don't need that kind of...
Well, and it was so out of the... Like you said, it really took you out of the moment, because these were really strong, badass women that were, throwing spears and crashing cars. And then just... Like, that was something I'd expect out of Roadrunner, not freaking Black Panther. It was so out of place. It really felt like a scene out of Roadrunner. I mean, she literally was holding the steering wheel. It was so stupid.
And then, I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of the Q scenes. Because the way they introduced it, I was like, oh boy, here comes the comedy parts.
Okay. I really like the Q scenes minus... the interaction with the suit where it sent him flying, because, how dumb did he have to be to get flung across the room? And
they've always got to show off the body humor, kind of flying across rooms. And here, touch it. Ha, you went flying.
It felt out of place. Once again, something I'd expect to see out of Roadrunner. But the rest I had no problem with in the
I like that he was... I like that it wasn't an origin story or anything.
Yeah. It was a standalone movie about what it was.
I mean, it touches on the very common superhero movie theme of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it honestly didn't rely too much on having seen the Avengers either.
At all, really, honestly.
Well, I mean, they covered the flashback with the dying dad, so I suppose... You didn't really need to see the Age of Ultron to get the... Or no, Civil War.
And honestly, there was no actual takeaway from that other than his dad was dead. That was literally all that came out of it.
Well, I mean, they were trying to establish that he liked his dad and saw him as a hero figure.
One of the things that I took away from this that I feel so few people look at, this is a terrible system of government. You don't pick your rulers by trial by combat and just have a dictator for life. I mean, we're talking about a dictator. That's how horrible countries turn out. They're just lucky they haven't had a horrible tyrant
they got one.
The guy that they got.
It was
very near to a shit show.
It really didn't make a whole lot of sense to me either, because they weren't consistent, because... The guy won the trial by combat, and they made him king. But the cousin was still able to come in and challenge him afterwards.
Yeah, Well, I think it was because he wasn't able to be there for the trial by combat, so he had to explicitly accept it because it was outside of the rules. And then, well, I'm not dead, and I didn't yield. Therefore, we're still not done here. well, it sucks to be you because I already burned all the flowers and we're both superpowered.
Yeah, okay. that was another thing. I appreciated that she went in to grab. Why couldn't she grab 2 seeds? There you go. Now you can plant one and feed your king one.
That's a good point. I liked the idea of it because it, for me at least, it was the idea that this is the end of this system. We don't have more of these to do this again. Mm-hmm. This is the end of this. There is no more Kings by Panther.
It also established that the villain didn't have long-term thinking for his in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
This is what's happening now. Deal with it.
And that actually kind of doesn't make sense from his character perspective because he's trying to set up like freeing his people and changing the world.
Well, at that point, he's got what he wanted, so he's running on the adrenaline high, and it's the power.
It seemed like a kind of dichotomy, though. Is it about freeing our people and doing what's best and becoming the superpower and making everyone respect us, or is it I'm the best, I'm the king, I got the superpowers, and no one else is going to be like me?
Well,
it wasn't so jarring. I mean, it wasn't like automobile on the sidewalk jarring, but...
Well, the fight scenes are all good, too. I mean, other than the over-the-top feedback suit that they did a couple times, too many, probably. The combat was all cool and fun. Not a whole lot of overly superhero-y combat because I mean they go through the whole revolution, so it's everybody fighting, not just the superhero.
There was a couple parts in this one. I don't know if I even want to touch this top. There's parts where I felt like they went out of their way to be I don't know, confrontational or politically inflammatory. Like there was the one part where the sister refers to someone as a colonialist or colonist or something like that. I can't remember exact. Colonizer, something like that. It was I don't know why you put that in there. I've already seen it thrown around online, like, oh, look at these people won't appreciate being called colonizers. Like, is that really what we want to take out of this movie? Like, you have more a great movie. Why do you need to go and hit on those confrontational topics? And the other one was when they talks about we don't need to be building walls, we need to be helping each other, and like,
well, now
boy, it seemed to work really well for you. Like, why pull that in there? Why have to go and hit on like the whole
that was I was like, oh, now you're trying to force an association.
There's no reason why you had to bring Trump into this movie. You have a solid movie. You don't need to make it bigger based on controversy by people talking about, oh, I don't support them because he was against Trump wall, or yeah, we go see Black Panther because he hates the Trump. Like, you don't need to put a stand on that. Be a solid movie based on you. There's no reason to...
And for the most part, it was.
Exactly. That's why I found it so frustrating. You had a great movie. There was no need to drag yourself in through the American political system in that shit show.
I like the fight scenes. I like the falling through the air fight scene. That was really cool.
That was well done.
And I liked how they used Bilbo. What's his face? Martin Freeman.
Yeah.
He was
his
done
blaster
well.
arm.
No, that's Gollum.
The spy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. He was really well done. I really liked at first I thought they were so over the top, the women warrior bodyguards, but they grew on me very quickly. Like the fight seat in the chase where she throws her vibranium spear and just the car just boom.
That was
like, Jesus. They're all dead. You killed them hard.
Oh yeah, because and their characters, it was all interesting to watch their characters, like the one divided between duty and what's right. I have to follow the new king now versus...
And that, once again, like, they hit on political topics that I don't feel anybody's talking about. Like, look at how bad dictatorships turn out. Like, the difference between a great dictatorship and a horrible one is one bad election, or one bad trial by combat in this case. And unwavering duty to your state is horrible or great based on one bad election. You need to be able to make that call. Like, that's something the American military has, I believe, actually, where if you're asked to do something you do not believe is ethical or lawful, like if you're asked to kill civilians, you have a duty and you're protected to say no, I believe.
I read up on that once. I don't remember what it said.
I know I don't believe we used to have that, but that's something that should be there, I think. Some sort of protection to protect against a bad commander getting people to do horrible things. But like, I liked how they hit on all these topics.
You really
well.
need to read Pratchett books.
Agreed.
You really need to read them.
I got an Alien book, like Alien. You know.
Oh, the movie
franchise.
franchise.
Yeah. They have one book that was I do Audible and they give me daily deals, and there was a $2
Oh, nice.
Alien book. I'm like,
I'll
check that out. That sounds good. It's got 5 stars.
I've got a Pirates of the Caribbean prequel novel that it's freaking huge. Like,
awesome.
I just need to actually sit down and read things again.
Yeah, I've got a book I need to read too.
We're great at staying on topic, aren't we?
I'm running out of topic to talk about it. I'm looking at it and like,
Let's see.
final fight scene was really good. I think the rhinos were maybe a little over the top. Also, the weird scene where like, you don't get to talk.
Oh,
That was so freaking weird. Although then he transferred like, we'll eat you. And like, I'm just messing with you.
I like that guy.
Me too, but the barking that almost felt like it may have been racist. Like to have the black guy barking at people felt like it may have. I don't know.
I'm
It
not
felt
even
so
gonna
out
comment.
of place.
I'm not even going to comment.
It felt so out of place and random.
I did like the idea of the going to the 7th tribe to bring them all together.
Yeah. Although I didn't like their original idea of let's just bring them and make him a superhero so he can fight the people. Like, we'll just ask you to betray our people. And, like, you know, after we made sure you respected our terms and our practices and our traditions, like, yeah, fuck that. Here, have the part and let's just screw all that tradition, and we need to save our people because now we elected someone we don't like, and yeah, we don't like this political system anymore.
Yeah, it's good. Go see it.
Agreed. It really was the best movie of the year so far, by far. Because I've only seen this movie.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't think we've seen a whole lot this year.
I don't think so. We saw Blade Runner.
That was last year.
We saw it this year.
Yeah, we did, but it's still a last year movie.
And you'll be hearing about that soon. Any other words of wisdom for our viewers?
No.